friends, and welcome to the Liz Moody Podcast, where every week we're sharing real science, real stories, and realistic tools that actually level up every part of your life. I'm your host, Liz Moody, and I'm a best-selling author and longtime journalist, and it is my honor and pleasure to welcome you to our annual holiday gift guide episode, which I know is a favorite of all of you and a favorite of mine to put together. I have a note on my phone that I jot down ideas for this episode all year long, except this year, we're doing it a little bit differently. This is our first ever conscious consumption gift guide. The goal of this episode is to screw the shoulds, and especially the shoulds driven by big corporations trying to make money off of us, and share a different way to do the holidays that feels less stressful, both in terms of your time and your money, and feeling good about not needlessly wasting. I also feel like a lot of gift guides feel really out of touch with people's very real financial situations right now. And I'm just starting to get a little grossed out by all of the overconsumption on the internet. I think that TikTok Shop pushed me over the edge, where every few posts I'm scrolling and there's someone telling me that this cheap plastic whatever changed their life and I must buy it immediately. And the worst thing is that I see that and I am tempted. It works. I'm like, how have I been living without this thing that it literally did not occur to me to need for the last 30 years? And then there's also the organizing videos where you have to buy 20 plastic containers to transfer your stuff from its original container into something more aesthetic. And then I was looking through some other gift guides, and a lot of it just felt like, forgive me for saying this, no hate to anybody, but a lot of it just felt like crap. Like we all feel this collective pressure during the holiday season to rush out and buy things that people don't want or need just because, I don't know, because we've decided societally that it's a sign of love and that it's a sign of lack of love if you don't engage. Anyway, before you are like, wow, this is a real bah humbug episode, I promise we're going to get into lots of holiday cheer because I am actually very, very into that. I just don't think that holiday cheer comes from buying gifts just because we have to. If you have a meaningful, special gift in mind for someone that you love, that is a wholly different thing, and I love that for both of you. I have a number of gifts that I have cherished over the years, and I will share some of my tips for figuring out an actually meaningful gift in this episode too. But I have also gotten and given a lot of gifts that were definitely just rush purchased the week before the holidays that are in the back of a closet somewhere gathering dust. So this episode will include a few thoughtfully chosen, largely consumable gifts, things that get used up essentially so there's no chance of that closet situation, and then lots of really special experiential gifts, which I am super excited about because there is so much phenomenal research about the benefits of experiential gifts versus material ones. There were a series of studies conducted at UCLA and UTSC that consistently found that experiential gifts strengthened relationships more than physical gifts. And this is cool. This held true whether or not the giver and receiver had the experience together. So you can gift someone an experience that you're not even there for, and they will still feel closer to you. There was also a study from UC Boulder that showed that experiential purchases make people happier than material purchases, and it's thought to be for a few reasons. Experiences become part of our identity in a way that material objects can't. We go on a hike, and then we are the person who finished that hike, who overcame the obstacles, and who made it to the end. We go to a painting class, and we're a person who's tried painting. We go on a trip, and that exposure changes us in all of these ways, big and small. We also tend to create a lot more memories around experiences, which we revisit and get to re-enjoy for years. And then they're just more fun to talk about, which fosters social connection and makes us feel really good. This feels like a good opportunity to revisit probably the most talked about study on this podcast, the Bob Waldinger study from the Harvard School of Adult Development that found that the single greatest predictor of human health and happiness is, say it with me now, the strength of our relationships. So experiential gifts help build those strong relationships while material ones typically don't. So we're going to get into all of those. But first, I want to talk about a few other ways that you can make your holidays merry and bright that I think are often underlooked amongst all of this talk about gift giving, which is leaning into traditions and rituals. If we're talking about what we remember when we're looking back at the holidays, what makes them feel magical, traditions and rituals are at the top of the list. I always spent Christmas at my dad's house with my stepmom and my two half-sisters. And my dad and my stepmom, they did not like each other very much. They would get into these huge arguments most years. They got a long overdue divorce later. But Christmas was just always like a little bit on edge, like what's going to set off the bomb today? And still, even with that, some of my fondest childhood memories are the rituals that we had around Christmas. We would always bake and decorate gingerbread cookies, which my sisters and I keep up today. And now I do it with my nieces too. And it makes me so, so happy. It feels like one of those few moments of my childhood that it was like a TV family. And we would also write notes to Santa, even when we all knew that he was my dad, even when we were old enough to not be doing it. But despite that, or maybe because of it, these notes were really heartfelt and they were really beautiful and they feel like little time capsules of our years. And we'd leave out cookies and scotch because our Santa really liked Lafroig. And when I think back on my childhood, I truly remember not a single gift that I got. I cannot recall a single gift, but I remember that. I also think that quality time spent is the thing that we're never gonna feel like we got enough of at the end of the day. I've shared a little bit about this on Instagram, but we recently found out that my sweet angel baby Bella, the cat that Zach and I foster failed when we were 22, has stage 4 cancer. We are still trying to figure out her prognosis and we're trying to keep her as healthy and feeling as good as possible. But I have spent the last week just sobbing until I feel like I cannot breathe, like writhing with physical pain because I have never had to live life without her and I can't picture life without her. And one of the only things that gives me comfort is knowing that I spent so much quality time with her during her life on this planet. And I cannot imagine this for a parent or a sibling or for a friend or for, God forbid, a kid. That time spent is just so what matters. And I think that sometimes that gets lost during the holidays as we are stressing about tablescapes and decorations and finding the perfect present. I am obviously biased right now. I am feeling really raw, but it's just so clearly not what matters. I will share a few rituals that I have started with my friends and family. If you want some inspiration, I would love to hear yours too. I just feel like this is what's important at the end of the day. Like this is it. This is what's important. So I mentioned the gingerbread cookie thing. It is still one of my absolute favorites, and we take it really, really seriously. We go super all out with all of our designs and our frostings, and we have like 50 types of sprinkles, and I just love it. Also, during my recipe development days, I created a gingerbread cookie recipe, and it is gluten-free and it has great for you ingredients, but it literally tastes better than any gingerbread cookie on the planet. So you are welcome. I will link that for you in the show notes. It is my yearly go-to. Another ritual that I do is I have some girlfriends and we always get together one night and we eat holiday-themed snacks and we watch cheesy holiday movies, like the cheesiest ones. This started during the pandemic with A Christmas Prince, which is a 10 out of 10 movie. The sequels are really, really good too. It's just so cozy and lovely and silly. And that night always feels like the best of girlhood, and I cannot recommend it enough. This year, I think one of the ones on the list is called Hot Frosty, which from what I can tell is a movie where a snowman comes to life as a hot man and he falls in love with Lacey Chabert from Mean Girls. And I think that the main obstacle to the movie is that he is like a snowman, and that's hard for many reasons in a relationship. Also, all of the Vanessa Hudgens Christmas movies, I think she has like one with a knight. She has another one where there's like a bunch of her, like there's like a bunch of different versions of her, all phenomenal too. Another one of my favorite rituals to do with friends is a hot chocolate hop, where we go around to all of the best hot chocolate spots that we can find. And we have these very formal rating cards. And then we judge each hot chocolate on taste, creativity, appearance, and overall so that we can find the absolute best hot chocolate. And then I am Jewish on my mom's side, so I love a latke. Honestly, all year round, I don't think there's ever a bad time of year for a latke. But years ago when I lived in New York, I went to this latke festival where there were all these different really creative takes on latkes, and you got to rate and review them. And then the next year, a few friends and I had sort of a latke potluck competition where we all brought a creative latke, and then we rated and reviewed it, and we picked a winner, and it was so much fun, and we got to eat so many latkes, which is basically my dream way to spend an evening. Another one that I love is my sister and I pick a night and we make warm apple cider or hot chocolate, and then we go around looking at all the Christmas lights in San Francisco, and we listen to Christmas music, and it just feels so magical and dreamy, and I adore it. I look forward to it all year long. Also, I want to shout out taking trips together. Could you say to your friend group or to your family, let's not do presents this year. Let's take a little weekend trip together instead. We've talked about this a lot on the pod, but one of the biggest problems with modern relationships is that we just get together and catch up. We talk about the lives that we've lived separately from each other instead of creating new experiences together that grow the relationship, that make it more fun and more memorable, that give you fun stuff to talk about. So if you can even just take like a little trip, like a one night overnight, or even just do a sleepover at one person's house. That would be so fun. I feel like that would just be like the most childlike energy that is going to reap far greater rewards than any present ever could. This is just a smattering of ideas. It's meant to serve as inspiration, but you know that I'm a huge fan of recurring plans, like meeting with a friend every week to work out or things like that. And these traditions and rituals are once a year recurring plans that we get to look forward to all year long. Okay, we're about halfway through this holiday gift guide episode, so it's probably a good time to start sharing some gift ideas. We're going to start off sentimental because I'm clearly in a raw place for this episode. But one of my all-time favorite experiential presents that I have ever given was Zach and I gave a family photo shoot to his mom and dad for Christmas one year. Every summer, his extended family goes to Carmel for a week, and it's his mom's special place. So we found a great photographer, and we told everyone to meet up at the beach at 10 a.m. and wear some shade of blue so that it would look somewhat cohesive. And then the photographer took pictures of the whole group, which is like 20 people, and then also individual pairings, like his mom with her kids and grandkids, his mom with her siblings, all of those types of things. It's the kind of thing that we only do at weddings, which don't necessarily have all of the people that we want in the pictures, and also only come around every so often. And it got to be in his mom's favorite place on the planet, a place that she has made so many happy memories with her family. And then a few years later, her brother, Zach's uncle, actually died. And I just am so glad that we were able to capture those photos while he was here. They are hung up on the wall at Zach's mom's house, and I know it means the world to her. And we're doing actually a photo shoot coming up with Bella now that I'm really, really, really excited about. I guess that's just a gift that we gave ourselves. To do it, I just literally Googled like photographer Carmel, and then I searched till I liked the photo style of one, but there's also services that you can use like Flytographer. Also, just real quick before I forget, for all of these experiential presents, usually I just make a little gift certificate on Canva, or I do a hand-drawn note that says what the gift is, and then I'll put that in a card to give to the person. Anyway, a photo shoot where it's really tailored to the person that you're giving it to and the loved ones that they want to capture, whether it's their pets, their partner, their kids, their parents, their friends, whatever. It's a really special gift. I also think that classes are a really fun gift that supports a person growing and evolving and becoming the person that they want to be, and also just tapping into that sense of play and having more fun. One of my friends gifted me a tennis lesson when she found out that I was trying to get good at tennis again. I played in high school. I was not good then, and I'm still very much not good, but it was a really sweet present, and I felt so seen and so loved. Maybe somebody will give me singing lessons this year now that I'm trying to make that a hobby, something else that I was also not good at as a child and will probably continue not to be good at, but find a lot of joy in. But really listening, figuring out what your friends or your family are into, and then finding a class for that thing in your local area and snagging a gift certificate is such a thoughtful gift. Also, just a little heads up, a lot of those smaller businesses won't advertise gift cards or even think to do that type of thing at all, but you can call and you can just ask, hey, can I prepay for one of your classes or whatever you're interested in purchasing? And then the vast majority of the time, they will accommodate you. There are also a zillion online subscriptions that you can get for people to support their goals. If they're getting into meditation or breath work, I love an open subscription. If they're getting into cooking, I love the masterclass cooking classes. They get the biggest chefs on the planet, and they have such helpful tips. The Sculpt Society, it's now a go-to for me for people on a fertility journey because they just launched a whole workout plan for IVF, for pregnancy loss. And I think that's such a helpful, thoughtful present for a time that a lot of companies are ignoring. I have discounts for a lot of these because a lot of them are podcast partners because I love them, which is why they're podcast partners. So I will link them in the show notes so you can get money off if you decide to gift those things. You can also come up with a fun activity to do together and say you'll provide everything that you need and they can just show up. I love to get really creative with these, like a paint night where you take canvases out to a really beautiful spot and you drink something yummy and you paint, or a paint night where you paint portraits of each other, which is so fun and it's so funny. And you can play around with styles, like you can say, let's do impressionist portraits of each other. Let's do Cubist portraits of each other. Or you can pick their favorite food and you can plan like a taco tour of the city or a mocktail or a cocktail tour where you make the ratings cards like we talked about in the rituals part of this conversation. And you can put those in with the card where you say what the gift is. Shows are another phenomenal experiential gift. There are obviously the bigger shows like concerts or if Broadway shows tour to your town. But if you want more affordable options that are just as fun, I love going to improv shows. I search improv plus whatever town I'm in. They are usually $10 to $20, and I always laugh so hard. There's actually a Broadway-based improv show in Oakland where they make up a Broadway musical on the spot that I am dying to go to. So if you are in the Bay Area, definitely search for that one. For parents and aunts and uncles and people of a different generation, I think a really fun, meaningful gift is finding tickets to an artist that they loved back in their youth. A lot of them still tour, like Billy Joel still tours, Willie Nelson still tours, Heart, the Rolling Stones, Sting, the Doobie Brothers. I know a lot of people my parents' age have a really hard time navigating this whole concert ticketing thing these days, and even knowing when their favorite artists are on tour. And it is such a good jumping off point to ask all sorts of questions about their lives back in the day. Like my mom saw Bob Dylan when he played in the Village in New York City in the 60s. And once we started talking about that, I got to hear about all of her hippie days, like what she wore and what she did. And it's just really special. Also, magic shows. This is such a special and fun gift. And I feel like people forget about magic. I do not, because I'm obsessed with magic and is one of my top favorite things on the planet. But I am aware that some people do. Search for a magic show near you and plan like a whole night around it where you dress really snazzy and you go out to dinner. Hot tip on that, go out to dinner after the magic show because then you can dissect all of the tricks and you can talk about, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. How did he do that? How did she make that person appear? Whatever, all that. It's really fun. I also love gifts that straddle the line between experiential and physical. What I love to do is get like a cute set of lotions or masks, and then you give a card where you say that you're hosting a spa night. And then for the spa night, you do really like relaxing music. You can make a gorgeous veggie pack salad, a cucumber mocktail. You can maybe put out one of our conversation card sets, or you can Google conversation starters for besties, like the types of conversations that lead to those really like meaty, intimate moments. Or you just put on a rom-com, but you just want to make it like a really relaxing, lovely Zen evening. My favorite products for this type of thing are 100% from the brand Osea. They are a longtime partner of the pod, and when I reached out and I told them that I was including them in this gift guide, they were kind enough to offer to partner with me for the episode so that I could bring you this entire episode ad-free. I love their products. I've worked with them forever. They're all vegan, they're cruelty-free, they're climate neutral certified, and they use incredible ingredients. They're a small woman-owned business. And then most importantly for this specific gift, their products smell incredible. They have the most spa-like, instant zen sense that I have ever personally experienced. The Undaria algae products, which are some of my favorites, have grapefruit, they have mandarin and lime and cypress, and they smell like a really fancy spa in like Italy or Greece. It just really reminds me of the Mediterranean so much. Also, I am very, very, very sensitive to smells. They always give me a headache. But I think because Osea uses such good natural ingredients, I do not have that issue with them at all. So I would do a Super Glow body set. That includes a full-sized Undaria Algae Body Oil, their new Undaria Algae Body Wash, and a travel-size hyaluronic body serum. And you can get 10% off on that or any of their products on OseaMalibu.com using code LizMoody. That's OSEA Malibu.com, and then use code LizMoody. And then I would gift that with a card that just like explains the spa night. And I feel like it'd be so peaceful. We're all so stressed these days. And so giving the gift of calm and serenity and stress relief, I just feel like feels really, really lovely. If anybody wants to give me that, I'm very open. Or another fun crossover between experiential and physical gifts. This was actually more experiential, a little bit physical, but this is a really cool idea from one of my team members. Basically, everybody in her family donates whatever they're able that year to a giving fund. That could be like $5 or it could be $200. And then they, in her family, always donate that to Kiva, which is a person-to-person microloan platform. And then somebody is in charge every single year. It rotates from person to person. And that person reads off an update about how the loans from the previous year are doing, and then puts forward new loans for everyone to vote on funding, which then they fund with the money paid back from the microloans from previous years, and then all of the new donations. I love this. I was just smitten with the idea when she shared it. It is so interactive. It's such a fun night. And there's so much research on how giving makes people feel so good. It comes up over and over again on the podcast that giving actually makes us feel better than receiving. So it's almost an ironically selfish thing to do. So if you want to try this at home, you can do it with Kiva, which has the bonus of getting to choose the microloans that you fund. So that's a really fun thing to talk about on the night where you get together and do all of this. Or you can put all of the money in the pot and vote for a different organization every year, or you can just kind of like modify it to suit your family's desires or needs. But I just think it's a really special and fun idea. I also love to make a plan for two people to each gift a favorite book. This is so good with like a parent, a long distant friend, or even just a partner, like somebody in your house, whatever. It's good for everybody. And then you can each read the other person's favorite book and you can talk about it. And it's so lovely. Another sort of crossover experiential physical gift doesn't feel physical because it's in like virtual space, but a Substack subscription. I think the best way to do this is to really take the time to get to know what the person likes and then gift them a Substack subscription that is very aligned with, that just matches their interests really well. I, of course, have to shout out our brand new Substack, which we've been working on for so long, and I am so proud of. It is called The Takeaway. You can get takeaways, you can get key quotes, you can get action steps from the podcast, as well as a fully separate from the episode, but still related to the episode, really high-value piece of content. Like for the takeaway to go with today's episode, I asked a bunch of my favorite people to share the absolute best gift that they've ever given, and then the best gift that they've ever received. I'm so excited about this, so I will link that in the show notes, or you can go to lizmoody.substack.com to find it. But just to highlight a few of my other favorite Substacks, if the person that you're gifting is trying to meal prep and cook on a budget, the Jen Eats Good, Eat Good newsletter has grocery lists, it has meal prep plans, and so much more. If they're trying to prioritize meditation, I love Dan Harris's Substack. For somebody who is going through a divorce or a hard time, Cup of Joe's Big Salad just feels like a warm hug. If you do want to go for physical gifts, I would say just really take the effort to make sure that it's something that you know somebody wants and that you know that they'll love. I like to keep a little note on my phone where if someone mentions something that they're interested in or a problem they have, I write it down and then I can reference that if and when I decide to get them a physical present. Or if I see something that I know a friend of mine would just adore, I pick it up for them regardless of what time of year it is, just so I have it on hand the next time that I want a gift. Or think about, is there a podcast or a musical artist that they love so you could get merch from them so your friend feels super seen and you know they'll actually wear it? Is there a food that they love that you could stock their pantry with? Is there an upgrade for an everyday thing like getting them a silk pillowcase? Avocado, by the way, makes my favorite ones of those if you are interested in them. I have them on my bed. They are phenomenal. If they just moved, could you get them an Etsy gift card and then make a date to hang out and look for art for their new place together? Is there a favorite restaurant that they're nostalgic for from a place that they used to live that you could find on Goldbelly and then you could get something delivered from? Or, this is such a good present, if their car is a mess, could you get them a gift certificate or take the car to get it detailed? This would be my absolute dream gift as a certified messy person who weirdly prefers things very clean, but I just cannot get myself there. Just taking that extra time to be like, how will this thing truly fit into their life? How will it make them feel seen? How will it make them feel loved? Okay, final category. What about the people that you can't make feel seen and loved because you don't actually know them that well? These are going to be gifts for people that you're not that close to, or you don't actually want to put a ton of effort into. I struggled last year with host gifts because I wasn't really drinking, so it felt really weird to bring a bottle of wine. And also if I brought something that was NA, I just felt like I was like pushing myself on people a little bit. And then I started giving a really nice olive oil because I love olive oil. It's the oil that I use 99% of the time in my own kitchen, and people loved it. I feel like olive oil is one of the things that people don't necessarily give themselves permission to buy nice versions of. And I'd say that it's definitely something that I would recommend spending on if you can, because a lot of the cheaper olive oils aren't real olive oil or they're rancid, and real olive oil is incredibly good for you. It has come up in podcast episode after podcast episode. I actually started using a brand called Costa Rica because after the Dr. William Lee episode, I was looking for olive oils made with Korniki olives, since he specifically cited that type as having a ton of extra benefits. And Costa Rica is made with 100% Korniki olives. It's also only sold in opaque glass bottles or tins, never plastic, which A, looks really chic. It's the kind of bottle that you can leave out on the counter, which makes it really, really good for gifting. And B, it protects the olive oil. That is a super hot tip. If your olive oil is in a clear glass or plastic bottle, that light exposure is probably making it rancid, which makes it taste way worse, and it also makes it worse for you. If I am being completely transparent, I have been trying to get Costa Rica to work with me for years because it is all that I cook with. I order the 3-liter tin from their website, which is like a lot of olive oil, and they finally agreed with this gift guide, so I have a code for them for you. If you're shopping the day that this episode goes live, just go to costarina.com. That's KOSTERINA.com, and you can take advantage of their Cyber Monday sale. But if not, you can use code Liz Moody for the rest of the year. They also have amazing drinking vinegars that I love to use for mocktails, so you can stock up on those. Those would also make a really good gift. But basically, I love to keep like 4 or 5 bottles of the olive oil stocked in my pantry at any given time. And then if I'm heading to a party, I know I already have a gift ready, and it's a gift that people are obsessed with. And to the point of this entire episode, it's a gift that they always, always use up. Another host gift that I love to do is flowers, but just a really quick PSA around flowers. Please, please, please always bring them in a vessel. I just use mason jars from around my house, and then I keep a ball of twine and I cut a piece of the twine and I tie it around the mason jar mouth, and it looks really cute. But there is truly nothing more annoying than somebody bringing you flowers and then you're running around and you're trying to figure out where to put them. We have had flowers like in our Vitamix before. I appreciate the flowers. I love the flowers, but just that one little extra touch, it takes it up so many levels. Another really great smaller gift to just have on hand is picking something kind of weird and cool and consumable. Like Milk Bar has a special edition holiday cookie cereal that looks absolutely crazy. I honestly really, really want to try it. And it's $20, which is around the price that a lot of us will spend on a bottle of wine. So you can just grab a bunch of those and you can have those be your go-to gift if you're invited to a dinner or a party or whatever. Or Coyote syrups, which I discovered in a coffee shop in LA, and they make the best syrups for coffees and matchas with farmers market ingredients, and they have flavors like pandan, they have lavender, they have one that has like a vanilla, orange peel, cinnamon bark situation. Or there is Side Yard Shrubs, who is my favorite drinking vinegar brand. They make these apple cider infused vinegars from farm fresh ingredients. They have like yuzu, mulberry, plum. You can use them for mocktails. You can use them for salad dressings. Or we have the Noma Projects. That's the online store from Noma, which is the world famous restaurant in Copenhagen that sadly I believe is going to shut down before I get a chance to try. But I will try not to mourn that too much. But they have this online store and you can order stuff. They have like a corn hot sauce. They have a pumpkin seed praline, just all sorts of fun stuff. I would just like go for these edible treats that you wouldn't be able to find or pick up in a local grocery store. Keep them on hand, and then you have them ready to go when you have those moments where you just need a present for somebody and you don't necessarily know what to give them specifically individually. All right, that is all that I've got for you today. If you are interested in more physical gift ideas, you can head over to lizmoody.substack.com. Some of my favorite people in the world are sharing the best gift that they ever received and the best gift that they ever gave. And I shared mine too. And tag me on Instagram. I'm at Liz Moody if you decide to do any of the things that were shared in this episode. I hope this was helpful. I know this was a little bit of a different take on a gift guide, so definitely let me know if you enjoyed it or if you're just like, go back to the normal gift guide that you used to do, Liz. I'm open to feedback, and I hope that you have a really wonderful and magical holiday. Oh, just one more thing. It's the legal language. This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, a psychotherapist, or any other qualified professional.